If Purdue loses in the round of 32, they lost to fill in the blank team.
Ooh, I like this question.
So according to the fielding of 68,
So that would be an 8-9.
Yeah. So like Arkansas, New Mexico, Florida Atlantic, USC,
NC State.
State.
NC State.
Oh,
NC State
yeah.
can get them.
Maryland.
Think about that guard matchup. And it's not like they need a ton of pick and rolls. And DJ Burns put that body on Zach Edey. He might be the only guy that's his big sideways.
You know what? There's a lot of teams on the 8-9 that I think could get him. Like if we're talking guards that would just need to eat up Smith and Lawyer and put Edey in spots where he needs to guard in space, like Arkansas could do that. New Mexico could do that. NC State could do that. There's a lot of teams there that scare me a little bit.
If you look at like the 7 and the 10 line too, if you want to go down that far for teams that are kind of in that same conversation, you got Providence as a 7 seed. You got Creighton as a 7 seed. You got West Virginia as a 10 seed. There's some good
shit.
teams.
Well, no, never mind. I thought about it. I thought better of it.
What?
I really like that that Northwestern guard combo, but not against Purdue.
They wouldn't put them in the second round. You can't have a Big Ten team.
No. But
Auburn
has 2 guards. Auburn's on that 7 line.
Do any of those groups or I guess what team that we just named that we like the backcourts of has the most applicable front court? Like who has some bodies they could throw at Edey? Any of those?
Creighton.
Yeah.
Providence has a bunch of different guys they could just kind of throw at them. I don't think anybody's
the problem with Providence and Creighton is I don't expect their seeds to go down. Those are 2 teams where I expect their seeds to go up as the season progresses.
I agree with that.
To me, the very obvious one is NC State. Like they got guards that can pressure you. They try to force turnovers. They got a big body that can kind of do as well as you're going to do against Zach Edey. I think it's NC State, although I don't love the idea. Let me ask you this, Tio. If you're trying to beat Purdue, is the best way to do it to try to go big for big with Zach Edey and try to slow him down? Or do you just want someone that can stretch him out and hope that you tire him out, making him chase somebody around on defense that can shoot threes, putting him in ball screen actions and hoping that he gets –
I wouldn't even put him in ball screen actions because he's shown to be really good in ball screen defense, playing that drop coverage, and he's still 7'5". I would go along the lines of what St. Peter's, bunch of staggers where his guy is the last screener.
Yeah, I like that.
You know what I'm saying? Because then you're flying off. They're going to have to trail, and then you've got a head of steam. And if your guys are screening well at all, like you're going to get some open shots because whenever they set a stagger away, he's sitting in that paint. Like he's way down in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then the reason I would also like NC State is because you don't necessarily need a ball screen for Jarkel Joyner or Terquavius Smith. Like those dudes can just do it without one. And there's really not that many guys that can do it without a ball screen.
Not this year.
Yeah. But those two can. And, DJ Burns, that's a big boy now. Walking refrigerator with ballerina feet. I'm telling you, like he's a nice player. He can only play about 25 minutes. That's the only kind of drawback of him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The other thing I would just add, I would want some team that would be, and I guess any team could do this, but I would want a team that I think has a reasonable shot of putting pressure on Edey not to foul. Because, look, he does a great job not fouling in the Big Ten. His foul rate is incredibly low. I know that's been a conversation with Purdue fans. But I thought Trace, like that was part of the game in the Indiana game, right? It was Indiana was able to separate in the first half because Edey got 2. He's only had 3 games, I think, this year that he's had 3 fouls since like the beginning of December. 2 of them were losses. One of them was Michigan. That was a pretty close game on the stretch. Yeah, hard to do. But I think like that, it feels like that's going to come up at some point in the NCAA tournament. So if you've got,
what would be fascinating? What would be utterly fascinating? And I hope the NCAA can find a way to pull this off.
Imagine if we talked about UNC and Kentucky, right? How they're both kind of on that playing game line. Imagine if we get like UNC Purdue in the second round of the NCAA tournament, or Zach Edey, Oscar Tshiebwe in the second round of the NCAA tournament.
That'd be insane.
Sign me up for that.
You would see how small Oscar Tshiebwe really is.
Yeah, dude. It's so, like if you think about it, Oscar Tshiebwe standing next to Zach Edey is quite literally T.O. standing next to Oscar Tshiebwe.
Yeah.
That's the size difference.